So like 2 or 3 years ago, I endeavored to collect the complete run of Nolan Ryan Topps cards, base cards anyway, and then also a handful of other brands that I liked, like a Don Ross or a Fleer, that sort of thing. And I kind of stopped a little short of my goal. He's got a lot of cards out there. And so I think it was a couple years ago where I made that video, and it's on my channel here. And the two that were kind of left hanging out there were the 89 Topps Tiffany and the 1994 Topps Gold card. Well, I have since acquired those because it was kind of just hanging over my head that I had this unfinished project, and I put so much time and effort into it that I kind of felt like I should, just finish it once and for all. So figured I'd run through the base Topps cards once again and talk about the two new ones when I get to them. So I targeted the PSA 8 grade where I could in the 70s, really the early 70s and the mid 70s. There was a point where I guess I came to my first collecting crossroads with him, and I'll explain that in a bit. But here's the 74. And one of my favorites is the 75 here, the PSA 8. So when I got to 76, I thought, well, maybe I should start transitioning into some higher grades, like maybe an 8.5, because there was an 8.5 available at the time, as well as an 8. But then I started looking, further down the line, and 8.5s were very pricey for some of these later 70s cards. So I didn't want to have like a higher grade in the 76, then a lower grade in the 77, so on and so forth. So here's the 76 Topps in an 8. And the 77 Topps was it's one of the more pricey ones out there. Hard to find high grade, nicely centered. And, I wanted to sort of, again, ease into the higher grades. And then I started thinking about, well, when can I start looking at going into the PSA 9 grade? And, again, it was a little too pricey up to this point. So I stayed with the 8 on the 1978 Topps. And then at 79, I went into the PSA 9s. So here's the first of my PSA 9s. And I ran with that for a little bit. As you'll see, here's a 1980 Topps in a 9. And I thought about moving into PSA 10s right about here, but real difficult and very expensive. So I stuck with the 9 and the 81 Topps. And then I gave a little more serious thought into 82. But even those, I think, at the time, were pushing $300 for a 10. I didn't want to spend that. This was $25, at least the time that I bought it. So it wasn't until 1983 where I moved into PSA 10 territory. And so here's the 83 Topps in a 10. And then when I got to the years 84 to 91, where there was a Topps base and a Topps Tiffany, I targeted the Tiffany in a 9, or the base in a 10. And so I kind of was a little unsure where I was going with that. So here's the Tiffany in a 9 for 84 Topps. And then I have the base in a 10. But as time went on, these base cards in 10s have gotten really expensive. And so in 85, I settled for the Tiffany 9, which could be had for a fraction of the cost of, well, I think 10s now are in the $300 to $400 range. And this one is sort of maybe like 1/3 of that. And this has that typical yellowing of the border, which is pretty common for Topps Tiffany. 86 10s, forget about it. So I went with, again, Tiffany 9 for that. Really tough to get these 86 Topps and PSA 10, so they command a very significant premium. And then 87 Topps Tiffany was fairly easy to get. In fact, these later 80s cards were so cheap and plentiful. I try to go for the higher end version of the card if available. So in this case, a Tiffany, and then the 88 Tiffany and a 10. And so 89, I was lacking, and the base card from the main set. And this is where I kind of like let it go. And I got back into it. I can't find a Tiffany anywhere in a 10. I settled for the base 9. So kind of breaks my sort of methodology here in putting this together, but I just wanted to get an example and kind of finish this off, like I said when I started the video. So the 89 non-Tiffany in a 10, but then the 89 Topps Traded is the Tiffany in a 10. Purchased a long time ago. Really hard to find this card. On the Rangers there. And then 1990 Tiffany. And then 91, the lowest Tiffany print runs of all the years that Topps made Tiffany cards. So this is real difficult to find. 10s at the time of purchase were pushing like $300. I just didn't want to pay that. So I went to a 9 on the Tiffany here. And then 92 and up is where they introduced the gold cards. And so that's what I was after when I finished this run off. So here's the 92 Topps Gold in the 10, and the 93 and a 10, and then the other pickup that allowed me to finish this off. I just got this in the mail today. 1994 Topps Gold SGC 9.5. So hard to find. I just decided to look at other grading companies, and I came across this one, and I figured, what the hell? I may snap this out, send it to PSA, probably get a 9. I don't know if I'd get a 10 on it, just for consistency across the slabs here. But a super nice card. Looks really good in this slab, too. I mean, this is my second SGC card, and kind of digging them. But, yeah, really tough to find, this 94. I have a couple of raw copies of the non-gold that I had in mind to send to PSA back when, you know, it was kind of normal circumstances. So those may get sent off in the future, but don't hold your breath. In the meantime, I got this Topps Gold in a 9.5 to finish off the Topps Nolan Ryan career base card run. There you have it. That took a long time. And so, again, I had those last 2 cards out there that I want to close the loop on, and I did that just recently. So now I can move on to whatever other project I'm on now. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.